Hello, this is my first video game review, and you're thinking, how's he qualified to do game reviews? Well, I've been playing video games ever since I was very young, and in addition to that, I also went for a very long time without having sexual intercourse. So, I think you'll find that I am more than qualified. And when I say no sex, I mean nada, nothing. So I decided to review
Bubsy the Woolies Strike Back.
Because I was feeling like nostalgic. I grew up in the 90s, and the only way to be nostalgic if you grew up in the 90s is to either play a reboot of a video game that came out during that time or do some acid and listen to the Spice Girls. I have never played a Bubsy game before. All I know about Bubsy is his reputation for making dreadful games. We did not start out on a good note. Bubsy took fucking ages to get downloaded and be made playable. This review almost became Atari Flashback Classics just because I am impatient. And I thought that Bubsy would be shit anyway. Having never played Bubsy before, it made me wonder if this was like some sort of like meta thing. It was like intentionally being bad from even before the game started, like some kind of like avant-garde theatre. Even the thumbnail makes him look like someone I would not trust to leave around my pint of beer and not put his cock in it whilst I am at the toilet. So the opening cutscene and title implies that it is a sequel. Now, do I need to know what happened before? Should I care? It's a story of a golden yarn being stolen. Feels like a subversion of Super Mario Brothers. But I just don't know if Bubsy is capable of this kind of higher level of satire. There's leaderboards to compare yourself with the other mad lads that have come across Bubsy and decided to invest some time and effort into this awful experience. Right, now I've played platformers for years, so I was confident that I would not be wank at this game. Even so, I decided to do the tutorial. Bubsy has basically got 3 moves, which is pounce, jump and float. And he can't float without jumping, so basically Bubsy has got 2 moves. Now on with the actual game. Now I found it a little bit unfocused. I found that on the first level I wasn't quite sure what to do. Like, do I need these keys? Do I not need these keys? Right, something else that pissed me off was, why does Bubsy jump over enemies when he pounces? It makes me miss the enemy almost every fucking time. In fact, you can't pounce without jumping, so Bubsy only has 1 fucking move. This fucking wall killed me time and time again. This wall has now made an enemy for life. Right, so you get points for collecting the wool and the keys for a final score, but that wall pissed me off to the point where I just finished the level and was pleased and couldn't give a shit about the score anymore. Like, you don't get a number or a letter score, so I'm not sure if the ratings at the end of the level are good or bad. Why am I supposed to be collecting yarn other than he's a cat? And I assume that he's collecting keys because he's got a cocaine addiction. One of the ratings was Mario. Now don't make me think of a better game than yours whilst I'm playing your game. It's like screaming steak and chips whilst I'm eating a pot noodle. Hello darkness, my old friend. I've come to speak to you again. Why is the camera so zoomed out? It just makes Bubsy smaller, which makes him easier to lose on the screen and for me to consider him even more insignificant than I already did. Like any platformer, like any great character, there is a boss, there is an antithesis, there is an arch rival. Mario has got Bowser, Sonic has got Eggman, and Bubsy has nondescript spaceship. I've never played a game where the boss's health remained at that point after a death, so I was grateful that I ultimately had less Bubsy to play. There's not much variation in the level design, it just feels like they've changed the colour scheme from green to brown, and I can do that by just adjusting the colour settings on my telly. I didn't feel like I had much motivation to explore the levels because I could just get to the end of every level by going right. I've never hoped that a game is short before. Plus, I was constantly saying to myself, am I enjoying this? That's something that you should reserve for a meal that you're trying, not for a several-hour game. Each level gives you 9 lives at the beginning, and this is because he's a cat, and I appreciate this little detail, or it might just be that I'm clutching at straws for something good to say. It's made me think as well about Gex the Gecko and other 90s failed mascots. Like, they stayed dead, and I don't know why Bubsy was the platformer to get another go at it. So the second boss was a crock of shit. When I got the game over screen, I didn't read it as game over, what a shame, do you want to try again? It was more, game over, you've been released from your ordeal. So at this point in the game, I know how to do the game well enough that I could, if I wanted to, collect more wool. But I just don't feel like I've got the motivation to. Like, what does it get me? Except I have to play the game longer. Something that definitely pissed me off. Why is it that every time that you die, you get sent back to the beginning of the map instead of where you just were? The amount of times that I've been sent back to that tutorial stage, like Bubsy's mocking me, saying that I need to do the fucking tutorial again. Well, I've got news for you, Bubsy. Fucking put me back where I fucking was after I've died. I got to the end of the game and I found myself saying, is this the final level? Well, at least it's short. Again, maybe clutching at straws. And here's another thing about the Bubsy game. It was not until the final level that I found out that I could duck. I went an entire game without pressing one of its 7 buttons. Right, I enjoyed beating the boss, but I don't know how much of it was a fluke because I've kind of lucked it, really, to be honest. When the credits rolled as well, I thought, right, that had better be the fucking end of it. I was not up for some kind of, oh, and here's some extra levels. No, thank you. This screen was met with, I hope not, disappointing. So, Bubsy, Return of the Woolies. It was okay. I feel like I've had a one-night stand with Bubsy. Like, could I do it again? Probably, if I put in a bit of effort. Should I? Probably not. At the very least, it's something I can contemplate when I'm bored in the future.